Todd Archer, ESPN.com's NFL Nation, joins us where it seems that Prescott will obviously play this week, but with the bye week, did that drum up any more thoughts that Romo is getting closer to play for the Cowboys, Todd?
You know, the fact that today he actually took some work in practice, not just throwing passes during the early part of it, shows you that he's ramping it up and getting closer and closer to coming back. The back is basically healed, and now it's all about him getting healthy enough to be able to move around, protect himself, and basically get in condition again. I mean, there's a long time there where he really couldn't do much of anything as that bone healed, but the last 4 or 5 weeks or so, he's really been able to ramp up the conditioning work, and now he's doing conditioning football, and now is the interesting time is when the Cowboys have to make their decision of what they're going to do. Stick with Dak Prescott or go back to Tony Romo. No one really knows, and if anybody's telling you they know, they're just guessing.
I would assume that is accurate, that nobody really knows. But at this point, has Tony said anything? I mean, does he anticipate getting put right back out there when he's ready, or is he kind of just, hey, I'll do what they tell me?
He's been underground. He hasn't talked since basically getting hurt against the Seahawks on August 25th. So while we've seen him and had small talk with him, say in the locker room, there's not been anything where it's been a formal interview where you're kind of figuring out, hey, when you're going to be back, how you feeling, all that. But it's the whole Brady Bledsoe thing started at the beginning of the season, really, and, you kind of laughed it off. But now, it makes you wonder what the Cowboys are actually going to do because Dak Prescott's had so much success.
Todd Archer, ESPN.com, NFL Nation. Todd, Elliott, 707 yards, 133 times, leads the league in rushing. Great story. Is it more him? Is it the line? I mean, how do you attribute his success? Is this a special kid right here?
I think it's a special kid with a special offensive line, and Eagles fans won't agree with this, of course, but it's like 2014 with DeMarco Murray. That was a special season for Murray with 1,845 yards. And the Cowboys have really gone back to that same formula that works so well. The first 2 games of the year, first game against the Giants, he was too quick to the hole, didn't have enough patience. The second game against the Redskins, he was a little too slow to the line, but he still had 80 yards and it was 4 yards a carry. The last 4 weeks of the season, he's been unbelievable in just being a perfect fit for this scheme in terms of being able to run through people, and run by people, and mix in with that offensive line that's playing as well as it has since 2014 too.
You talk about that offensive line as we visit with Todd Archer a little bit, and it almost makes you wonder, like, what the anomaly was last year, and basically a lot of the same guys back again. And yet, if you go to the offensive line, then you also have to say that manageable third downs have been a reason the Cowboys have had success as well.
Absolutely. Jason Garrett likes to say you convert third downs on first and second down and make it easier for you. You go back to last year, and it was a down year for the Cowboys' offensive line. People will say Darren McFadden was still fourth in the league in rushing. The big issue last year for the Cowboys was just poor quarterback play when Tony wasn't out there. They only won 1 game without him, and I think Matt Castle's winning drive was all of about 13 yards to set up a field goal to beat the Redskins. So the difference has been Elliott's better back than McFadden. The line is playing better, but the quarterback is making a lot of plays that last year's quarterback, be it Brandon Weeden, Matt Castle, or Kellen Moore, just didn't make. Simple throws, not being able to be on the same page with your receivers, not converting drives, putting your defense out there way too much. Everything that could go wrong for the Cowboys last year basically did, and now this year everything that can go right for the Cowboys basically has gone right.
And the average fan would look at the news that comes out of Dallas this week and see that Dez Bryant is coming back and say, oh, Dez Bryant's back. But could you argue that Cole Beasley is their most important receiver right now?
Well, I'm still going to stick with the guy who's making $70 million as the most important guy, just because he can do things on the field that not many athletes in this world can do. But you're right to Beasley. He does lead the team in catches and yards. He had a 2-touchdown game the last time the Cowboys played against Green Bay. And Prescott has really figured out, hey, this guy's open a lot. It's really easy to get him the ball. and he's been a big reason why they've been good on third down. But Dez brings a big playability and can change the game in an instant, where I think defenses will look at Beasley and say, okay, we'll give you some of the underneath stuff every now and then, but we just don't want to get beat deep. And Beasley's not that guy where Dez is.
Todd Archer, ESPN.com, NFL Nation, covers the Cowboys. The Eagles, a little bit of a surprise. Are the Cowboys that much of a surprise? I mean, because the Eagles 4-2, I think people are surprised, but 5-1, Dallas, people are starting to talk about them as maybe the class of the NFC. Was that expected when this season started? I guess it was a little different expectations because people thought Tony would be the quarterback.
Right. I think before Romo got hurt in the season, I think people were saying, okay, the Cowboys clearly want to get back to what they did in 2014 stylistically and how they played. That's why they drafted Elliott. That protects the defense. But when he got hurt, I don't think nobody, maybe Dak Prescott and his family saw the Cowboys being 5-1. No one else did, though. So this is a big surprise. And, we spent a lot of time talking about the offense, and you kind of have to because of what the Cowboys have done. But I think the defense has been surprisingly pretty good when everybody kind of thought it would be really bad, a little bit like the 2014 team. The offense is protecting it, but they're really making plays when they have to, especially in the red zone, taking the ball away, getting some turnovers, not having to play the run very much because the offense is getting some nice leads where teams have to throw the ball on them. But the defense has been more of a surprise than maybe the offense, even with a rookie quarterback.
All right, so I want to ask you about that defense because Philly's offense, not a lot of weapons. Wentz has kind of, had some really good games, but he's doing it not with a guy who can really pop the top off. The running game has kind of been mediocre. The tight ends haven't got involved. Once Lane Johnson went out, the line has been kind of iffy. So is this a week where the Dallas defense, looks to be a big factor in this game in terms of shutting down this Eagles offense?
It's interesting with the Cowboys defense, and when you look at it, Sean Lee is the biggest name. He will know last year and stuff, but they don't rush the passer. And, people here will say, oh, this is a good week because of all those reasons you just mentioned, the Eagles line and not having Lane Johnson. But where the Cowboys have excelled is really in their coverage and sitting back and not attacking quarterback, making offenses drive the field. I'd be surprised if the Cowboys really try to attack Wentz. I think they'd want to see, all right, we're going to drop 7, we're going to drop 8, and see what you can do against this because, hey, we confused Aaron Rodgers a couple weeks ago. How would we do against a rookie quarterback? It's really funny that the Cowboys have changed their MO defensively under Rod Marinelli from it's all about the pass rush, but this year because they have no pass rush, it's all about playing coverage, and that's where the Cowboys really have done a good job, and they haven't had Orlando Scandrick for the last month. He'll be back this week. That's another bonus for them defensively.
All right, Eagles-Cowboys for the 111th time Sunday night right here on 97.3 ESPN. Real quick before we let you run, Todd, what is the buzz or the story about this particular Dallas-Philadelphia matchup?
Oh, it's all about the quarterbacks, right? It's all about Dak and Carson, and the Cowboys worked with Wentz for a week at the Senior Bowl. Prescott was in the game playing on the other team, and that's really when the Cowboys first got interested in Prescott because they met with him for about an hour the day before the Senior Bowl and took a liking to him. And so as much as they liked Wentz that whole week and he was the number 1 quarterback on their draft board, it really was where they started their love affair, if you want to say, with Dak Prescott. But it's totally about the rookie quarterbacks and, how this rivalry will expand here in the next however many years with these guys. But it'll be interesting to see January 1 in that finale, is Tony Romo the quarterback? That's going to be the big answer the Cowboys are going to have to come up with here soon.
That'll be interesting to see. This week will be Prescott and Wentz. You can hear it right here on 97.3. Todd, thank you so much.
You got it, guys. Thank you.